good morning, good afternoon, good evening. A very warm welcome to the talk show Meet Menaca, celebrating you. Today we are on the episode 127. So firstly, thank you so much for supporting us all along. Today we are going to be discussing skincare, Instagram, and dermatologist, a love triangle. We'll know soon whether it is true or not, with Dr. Rasya Dixit. Dr. Rasya Dixit is a practicing dermatologist and an aesthetic physician in the practice from the last 13 years. She founded Dr. Dixit Clinic in 2014, which is a center of excellence for cosmetic dermatology and evidence-based dermatology in Bangalore. Dr. Rasya Dixit is a graduate of prestigious St. John's Medical College, Bangalore, pursued her postgraduate degree in dermatology in the world-renowned Christian Medical College, Vellore. She is a member of the International Society of Dermatology, the Indian Academy of Dermatology, the Cosmetic Dermatology Society of India, and the Association of Cutaneous Surgeons of India, to name a few. Dr. Rasya Dixit has contributed to articles on cosmetic dermatology to peer-reviewed journals and has been an invited speaker at state, national, and international conferences. She's been a recognized faculty member and the trainer in workshops for cosmetic dermatology at various national conferences. She has also been faculty at International Academy of Aesthetic Medicine, which trains physicians in aesthetic medicine. She has contributed up to 8 chapters across 5 textbooks. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Rasya Dixit.
Thank you so much, Menaca, for having me.
Now, let's talk about the talk show a bit before we dive into the questions. The mission of the talk show is to touch and inspire 1 million hearts and lives, improving health, happiness, and hope. We feature experts in their respective fields like today, and real people sharing real stories to create a positive social change. It's a vibrant 90-minute multicultural online talk show to celebrate each and every one of you. We will be delighted to have you join our show. It is on every Sunday, 2 o'clock London time. Now, without further ado, let's dive deep. Dr. Dixit, I know you personally. How has your extensive experience in dermatology shaped your approach to cosmetic dermatology?
I think when you hear the word dermatology or skincare, the first thing that comes to anybody's mind is beauty, and it is about how you do a procedure to become more beautiful or better skin. But when you look at dermatology per se, it's more than 3,000 diseases of the skin, of the hair, of the mucosa, of the nails. And a basic foundation in understanding dermatology, which happens over a 3-year post-graduation period, is what is going to create the awareness of treating and identifying skin diseases even before you move to the aesthetic field, because aesthetic dermatology or cosmetic dermatology is a very small portion of dermatology itself. So a basic understanding of skin is very important before you enter the journey of cosmetic dermatology. When it comes to me, when I started my practice, I was into hardcore dermatology and I was very much interested in teaching. And when I came back to Bangalore after doing my post-graduation, I found that there was a severe shortage in people who were needed in academic institutions such as colleges. So I did apply for a teaching position in many of the colleges, and unfortunately there were no positions available at that time. And that time I joined another institution which was working with HIV and AIDS in India, in Karnataka. And I worked with them for 2 years, during which time I was also doing a lot of private practice in a private hospital. When I started seeing patients who needed a lot of aesthetic care. So when I was doing this treatment, I met a lot of interesting people and I got an opportunity to learn from people who are in other countries, dermatologists visiting India to train Indian doctors on aesthetic procedures, on lasers, etc. And I also got an opportunity to go outside India to learn about these procedures. And at that time, I'm talking about 20 years ago, this was a very upcoming and niche specialty. So cosmetic dermatology found me instead of me finding it instead of the other way around. And that's how I got interested in this field. And um, coming to the whole knowledge of dermatology, it's probably the foundation for doing anything more. If you do not know your dermatology, you cannot become an aesthetic dermatologist, a good one at least.
I like the way you said dermatology found you rather than you finding dermatology. It's interesting way to look at it. And I think most of the time things happen that way. Who would have thought
Yeah.
I would be doing a talk show, being a dentist for so many decades, right? I think sometimes things do find you. Thank you so much for that. So can you share a specific case? I know that you have like thousands of cases where your evidence-based dermatology approach led to remarkable results, particularly in cosmetic procedures.
A lot of us assume that patient who has a cosmetic problem has to be treated or can be easily treated with lasers and with creams or serums or maybe a botulinum toxin or a filler. But what happens when you are not able to diagnose what is the condition due to? So if you look at our Indian population who I work with, pigmentation is a major concern. So when we talk about pigmentation, the causes of pigmentations are multiple. So you have pigmentation which is being caused by various autoimmune skin diseases, for example, and the treatment approach to which is extremely different from if a patient had developed a tan or a melasma or a hormonal pigmentation. So getting to the root of the problem is the first part of the diagnosis. So we have people who have been, unfortunately, in India, everybody chases the fair skin. And I think, they are very crazy about having a very clean, fair skin. And in fact, many a product which we use to treat over-the-counter fair skin, that is the hydroquinone, it could be a steroid-based cream, actually ends up damaging the skin in a very bad way. In fact, it causes a rebound hyperpigmentation called ochronosis. And this ochronosis has to be diagnosed by a skin biopsy. Unfortunately, skin conditions cannot be diagnosed by doing a blood test. We have to diagnose it by doing a skin test called a skin biopsy. When we hear the word biopsy, often patients are very scared, thinking that we are looking for cancer because that is the term associated with cancer. But skin biopsy is a very commonly done test in order to histopathologically examine what is happening inside the skin itself and then offering a treatment. So coming back to the patient who I was treating, there's a lady who has been using many skin lightening creams, going from doctor to doctor, doing so many treatments, chemical peels, lasers, and not seeing any improvement. So when we saw her, we realized that the pigmentation was not only limited to her face, but also to her neck and to a certain extent on her arms as well. So we did do a skin biopsy for her, and thankfully we were able to take a piece of skin from her neck so that we didn't cause a scar on her face. And then we found out that the condition she was having was something called a lichen planus pigmentosis. Again, a skin pigmentation very common in India, and it is related to hair dye use. PPD containing hair dye can cause this condition. And then we stopped the hair dye, then started her on the topical creams which were meant for that condition. Then we did the laser. And if you look at lasers, they are a very important treatment for pigmentation of any cause, but they are a double-edged sword. If you don't do the laser in a correct setting, you may cause deep pigmentation. Now, deep pigmentation in India is a more bigger stigma than pigmentation. So, if you look at experience and expertise, the most important thing is to understand what is the concern, to understand what is the disease that you're dealing with. So patient will not be able to communicate. They'll say, my skin is dark, I have pigmentation, I want a clearer skin. That is what they will say. But as a doctor, the first thing we do is do no harm. Find out what is going on before you offer a procedure which may harm them in some way.
Thank you, Rasya. I think you put it in a nutshell. It is very important, and it's not only India. Most Asian countries,
Yeah.
everyone want lighter skin. Um, Someone actually came and spoke about it on the show. How do you navigate trends? Yeah, because it's important, right? Because we sometimes wonder why people do what they do, and then the reason behind is very different. The pressure on some people, right? They want to look
Yeah.
lighter. Their potentials for many things can change how you look.
Yes. Yes. So let us look at appearance and grooming and the importance that it has taken over the last few years. I remember when I was growing up, I did not have time to even think about all these things. But it is very different today. And I'm not even talking about the teenage generation or the Gen Z or the millennials. I'm talking about any person who is there. And what I feel has changed is the way we communicate. For example, we used to always have telephonic communication where we were not able to see each other. Now, all our communication platforms, like the meeting we are having today, is Zoom, where all of us are on our videos, we're talking to each other. And I feel for the first time, we are seeing ourselves live when we are talking to others. So post Zoom and post Instagram and post WhatsApp video calling and all the video chat, Snapchat, people have become very aware of how they are looking. That is number one. Second, the trend is internationally grooming standards are going up and people are expected to look a certain way. There's a lot of pressure on everybody to look a certain way. And going on to the third reason is that I feel that how you look or how you present yourself is part of your own self-esteem. It's part of the grooming process now than anything else. So there are things which we can help with, and there are things which we can't help with. And making a person understand the reality of how much we can achieve, because we are dermatologists, we are not going to be able to make a complete difference, a significant difference, yes, but it is not possible to fix every flaw. And so there is a lot of counseling and talking to the person when they come and meet you during a consultation and understanding where is their need coming from. For example, I have a lot of girls who come to me saying, my spouse or my partner feels I am dark, but they may not be feeling the felt need. Or a wife coming and telling me, my husband is losing hair. So can you do something about it? But the husband is not invested in doing the treatment for the hair. So there is a lot of commitment needed in skincare, which is the same when it comes to anything. We need habit building, whether it is fitness, whether it is healthy eating, whether it is skincare or hair care. A lot of commitment is needed and a lot of habit building is needed. So what happens when it comes to trends is that I usually like to understand where that person is coming from, because trends keep changing. Sometimes baggy pants are in, sometimes skinny tights are in. Doesn't mean that you're going to invest all your money and buy only skinny tights or baggy pants. So you have to try to tell your person that this is not in. Right now, there is a trend called Russian lips, which is in. And it is, oh my God, it looks very alien. It looks very unnatural. So to tell people that what is looking aesthetic, what is looking natural, what is looking normal, all these things have to be taught, and so that you can explain to the person what is necessary and what is probably not necessary. The end of the day, what we are doing, and I think most of us are doctors who have to take the call saying, do no harm. So I'm coming back to my statement saying, do no harm. Then you can obviously suggest more treatment, because when you come to aesthetic dermatology, all the people who come to me are well. They are well people. They want to look better. Sometimes they do have some underlying skin condition which has to be treated as well, but they are mostly well. So here, talking to them about what is their concern and how we can help them is very important.
Thank you, Rasya. I think enhancing beauty is good provided it is safe. I think safety comes first,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, safety comes first. Yeah.
Your commitment to positive social change aligns with our mission, where we say, it is positive impact. How do you envision contributing the positive impact through your expertise? I know it's very different from the talk show or from a dentist or a cardiologist or psychiatrist. So how do you envision your world?
So, what happens and why I told you about the love triangle of Instagram is that as a doctor, I was only talking to my people who were coming in to see me. And then the lockdown happened when COVID hit, and we were very, very, work was very, very quiet because we did not have any people coming in. And that's when I thought this is a golden opportunity to educate people. There is a lot of information on Google, on YouTube, on Instagram, and especially when it comes to skincare and cosmetic dermatology, there's a lot of misinformation also out there. We found it as an opportunity to talk to people. Initially, when you look at my first few videos, we are talking COVID because there was a lot of in lack of information on wearing masks or PPE or what you should do and what you shouldn't do. We started talking about that. Then we started talking about the basic skincare and the basic um, treatments that patients should expect and what are the things they shouldn't do and things like that. So that is how we started. Then we are now expanding, and I am part of the Indian Dermatology Association, the media cell chair there, so that I am representing all the dermatologists of India, where we are talking to the public directly about who is the correct skincare expert, whose advice to take. Because in India, we have more problems than just aesthetic dermatology problems. We also have a lot of fungal infections, bacterial infections, which often people go to a pharmacy and look for an OTC product, which is not there in your country. But then, in the pharmacy in India, they sell you anything. So there is a lot of abuse of creams, which will cause more problems for the people. So when you talk about society impact, as of now, I lead the team which talks to all the people in India in Instagram. So we put out content which any dermatologist in India can share with their community through WhatsApp, through YouTube, through Facebook, through Instagram, so that we educate them. And this is how we are making a positive impact. But when I see your channel, it kind of gives me more ideas, because then I am thinking there are more ways to reach out, and there are more ways to talk, and there are more ways to make networks and connection. And it has to be an ongoing process. It cannot be one person's effort, or it cannot be one time effort. So
Thank
I'm
you,
very
Rasya.
excited to talk to you today.
Thank you so much, Asha. I think it evolves. Another common thing we both have is our talk show started during COVID as well, and for the same
Okay.
for the same reason. We were thinking, how can we reach everyone, one to many, right? Because otherwise, we were through charities we were taking calls. There should be a better way to be able to show people what messages can be given. And like from all the different expertise, we started with psychology because we had a lot of suicides, family sides around that time in the UK. And then we decided, okay, fine. And I'm an advocate of mental health myself. And that's how we started. But with time, it evolves. Like everything. So it will be interesting to talk to you later how your journey was. I know that you're very active on Instagram because I follow you myself. So yes, it will be interesting to see where it goes. On the flip side, some people criticize cosmetic dermatology as vain. Firstly, cosmetic dermatology has a significant impact on people. For example, it can be burns or scar reduction, etc. On the other hand, personally, I think beauty means different things to different people. Everyone must be entitled to look and feel how they feel fit. Of course,
Okay.
with the caveat, it is safe. What is your take on it?
So I feel when we talk about aesthetic dermatology or cosmetic dermatology is often trivialized, saying, it's in a you're getting a procedure, like you got a salon, like you got a haircut or a facial. But let us look at what is the impact of appearance on mental health. So we know that how you look and how you feel and how you're grooming yourself has a huge impact on the psychology of the person. Yes, a person may feel more confident if they feel they color their hair. You see that people want to color their hair when they have their grace at whatever age, and we don't judge them for that. Similarly, as a doctor, I am not here to judge a person if they want to do a particular procedure, if that is what is going to help them to look their best. That being said, we have to tell them what is a realistic thing to chase. We don't want to make people look all like frozen, expressionless. We don't want to make all of them look the same with the voluptuous lips. But we want them to look an amazing, whatever age they are. If they are 40 years old, let them look an amazing 40 years old. If they're 50 years old, let them look an amazing 50 years old. Because when they do look good, they feel a lot of confidence. Let us talk about a very simple condition. Let us come back and talk about, for example, hair thinning or hair loss in men. We used to see this hair thinning and hair loss in men in their 40s and 50s. We are seeing it in India as early as 20s, especially post-COVID. So we cannot dismiss this saying, oh, your father lost his hair and now you're losing it. 20-year-old boy is going to be so emotionally disturbed. He doesn't want to go to college because he doesn't have hair. I have a boy who has a comb over. He's only 25 years old. He doesn't want to go to college. He's not confident to meet a girl or have a conversation with a girl. Similarly, a girl with facial hair, excessive facial hair, has an underlying hormonal problem. You call it aesthetic, but then she feels very underconfident to go to work, and she is not confident to, communicate with other people. So, everybody is different, and what I am comfortable with, somebody else may not be comfortable with. Somebody might be comfortable to not treat their pigmentation, but somebody else may be very uncomfortable and want to use a concealer every day. So let us not trivialize, because definitely I feel aesthetic dermatology, or how you look, is a big part of your mental health. And we see that when we look at the quality of life studies, which are the medical studies done on people with, for melasma, with male pattern hair loss, actually the severity of the quality of life is equal to having a skin disease like a psoriasis or a atopic dermatitis. And also they have made some studies which compare it to having a disease like cancer. Patients say that if I have a cancer or a diabetes mellitus, it is hidden inside my body. Whereas I have a melasma, it is on my face. So the trauma caused by a skin condition, the quality of life which is affected for this skin condition, is actually as worse as having a disease which could be so much more severe. So I feel you cannot say it is about vanity, not anymore. So this is what I feel about, but I'm passionate about it because that's what I do for a living. But I guess that anybody in the room will agree that, looking your best and putting your best foot forward is very important.
And I think they should be left to make that choice, each individual.
Yes.
I know you're an expert in the field and contribute immensely to the field of cosmetic dermatology and through social media or teaching other dermatologists. But others who are non-medics also practice cosmetic dermatology too.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about it?
Uh, so there is a lot of uh, controversy regarding this topic. What happens in India? Let me talk about that first. In India, only dermatologists and plastic surgeons are allowed to practice aesthetic medicine. Nobody else is allowed to practice aesthetic medicine. And the Indian Association of Dermatology has an anti-quackery cell, which is to dissuade people who are not trained to not do the practice, basically for the reason of safety more than anything else. When we look at the study of skincare, for example, when you do a botulinum toxin or a injection of a filler, a very important part of this is knowledge of anatomy, knowledge of how to treat when things go wrong. Probably that is very important, and it is very underestimated because people don't think that it is important. If you look in India, the IADVL is fighting the use of lasers at home because now you have companies which come home and do laser hair reduction. So we don't have trained people, and these are machines which could potentially harm the eye if it was used or burn the skin. So, which is what we were trying to fight. But most important is training. So, when you ask us, you have nurses in the UK, which I understand are trained to deliver toxin. You have, uh, for example, dentists who are also trained to deliver toxin in the masseter area. Ophthalmologists deliver toxin in the eye area. Again, it is based on the training. So if the training is adequate and you know how to deal with the complication, then that is what has to be done. So I always tell the story of the Mahabharata, which all of us have read at some point of time, where you have the Chakravyuha, right? The Chakravyuha, Abhimanyu entered the Chakravyuha, right? So if you are trained only in the procedure and you know to enter the Chakravyuha, but you don't know how to exit the Chakravyuha, then that is a big problem for your client. And that is unfair. If you take up a procedure where you know how to do the procedure, but you do not know how to deal with the complication of the procedure, it is very unfair to the person who's getting the procedure done. And ethically, as any doctor or any human being, you are not allowed to do something which you do not know how to handle further. That is why I always tell my doctors who I train, and I train a lot of doctors, that you have to be Arjuna. You cannot be Abhimanyu.
Interesting concept. Thank you. Whether we like it or like, I think like any other profession, if when it comes to India, I mainly know about Bangalore, not many other cities as well. Though I visited. So even in Bangalore, you know that they're either filled with dermatologists or filled with hair care.
Yes, yes.
But the standard of care could be, very varied. So if someone is looking for a dermatologist or cosmetic dermatologist in particular, what should they look for? Because I think these days the choice is wide, and even my own friends can get very, misguided sometimes, to say the least, and also very confused where to go.
Okay, so I think the first thing they look for is the dermatology, the MBBS, which is the basic medical degree, and then look for an MD dermatology degree. And then now, I think about from the last 10 years, we have a lot of fellowship in cosmetic dermatology also available. I did my fellowship from abroad, but then you have the Indian fellowships as well in dermatology and dermatosurgery, which are available. And then you go to the doctor and you ask them about what are if they have a before after picture, for example, or they have a video of the procedure which they are doing, which should not be off the internet. And if they are able to discuss all the pros and cons in a logical way with you. So these are things which are very important. So you need to have a trust building process with the doctor. It cannot be And definitely word of mouth works. And I honestly believe today's word of mouth, we have a lot of recommendations on Google, YouTube, Instagram, but I feel that the word of mouth, which used to work in the olden days, is probably the best bet for healthcare needs. And I think it's not going to change because I'm sure, Dr. Menaca, a lot of your clients will come to you because they heard of you from your existing patients or clients. And when they come to you like that, I'm also very comfortable. When somebody says, I've been referred by Dr. Menaka, then I know that this person already knows me, right? So I'm also more comfortable. When a person comes to me saying, I saw this ad on some, and I want to get this treatment done, for example, say, I am wanting to do this, then it is difficult because I want them to understand that I need to put in my input as well, because if sometimes something is not necessary for that person. Right now, we are struggling with that, where people just walk in and say, I want to do this laser or I want to do this treatment without understanding what is needed, because the amount of influence Instagram has, the amount of influence uh, YouTube has. They have seen this procedure, they think it did well for this person, so it's going to do well for me. And the truth is far from there. They have to do they have to go through a consultation. So I feel that understanding, trying to get a word of mouth, trying to get a reference is better, but always look for the MBBS MD degree. Also look whether they are IIDVL members. So if they are IIDVL members, they are part of the Dermatology Association. So they have one level of training, and they are, so three things could help.
Thank you. I do believe word of mouth is the best way to grow. In UK, the system works a bit differently unless until private healthcare. Private healthcare, of course, it's still worth doing that. It's because I think it's one-to-one that trust building, right? Yes, like you said, I have been in my practice for a long time, and it's you build that relationship over a time because they have been served in a certain way, and they put the trust in. Then they go and recommend to friends and family. And I think I train in leadership and resilience, and I normally tell people, I think having or serving well to your own patients is the best marketing strategy.
I agree. And there's sometimes I have to tell them that I don't know. Like, suppose there is some particular procedure which I'm not good at, to be able to say, I think there is another expert, or I think there is a better laser. It's something which is a very important quality in a doctor. And it's not possible to know everything. It is not possible to be an expert at everything. And to be humble enough to know when your limitation is there, but what is your limitation, is probably one of the most important part of learning in medicine, is knowing to say, no, I don't know this procedure. Can I please refer you to my colleague or my senior? And it is, I feel the fraternity in Bangalore, I'm very, very lucky to have, because I have studied here and I've come back here, my own professors who I can call for help or, refer for help. Or, suppose they have a better or a more advanced machine than me, I can refer to my colleagues. So part of this whole, I feel that the genuineness of a doctor comes across, and you can make out when you're having conversations with the doctor itself.
I can definitely tell that about you. And I used to tell, when I just passed my exams and became the dentist, I used to think how much I know. So many decades later, now I know how much I don't know. I think that is also something what happens right with time.
Yes.
So especially, I know you're mostly active in Instagram and perhaps a bit YouTube as well, especially social media like Instagram, a platform you utilize to share your knowledge. There are others share a lot of their belief too. But can Instagram or any other social media like that be a double-edged sword?
Absolutely. I think that the reason why I got onto Instagram is because we were seeing a lot of scaremongers, right? There are a lot of misinformation over there. What happens is when you are seeing somebody on Instagram and you just see the number of followers they have a lot of followers, 1 million followers, but you do not know what is their expertise. They are telling you that this is the moisturizer that I use, or this is the serum that I use for glowing skin. So, what is their expertise? How do they give you that expertise? Like, how can you comment on a skincare routine which suited only one person and claim just because you have a few million followers that this is the best skincare for everyone? It is not possible, isn't it? One cream doesn't suit everybody. So, it is very important. And today's day and age, everybody is on Instagram and everybody is just watching. And Instagram has made this skincare very aspirational. We have people in tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities who want, like, I had a young girl, she worked as a housekeeping in one of my uh, clinic, friend's clinic. She works as a housekeeping girl. Young girl comes and says, how much do lip fillers cost? Beautiful girl, beautiful lips. And so what is this is because she's looking at Instagram, it's made it aspirational. So we'll come back to her. But I'm not saying it's wrong to want something, but it is wrong to trust all the messages that you see on Instagram. I have this conversation with my parents saying, please don't believe everything you read on WhatsApp. Please don't believe everything you see on YouTube. Similarly, it is important to see what is the qualification of somebody who's telling you something. It could be about a diet, it could be about mental health. I think, Dr. Menaca, you spoke about mental health. If you see Instagram, there's a lot of people who claim themselves to be mental health experts. Similarly, there are a lot of people who claim themselves to be skin health expert. So I feel that it is, I look at AAD, they have a beautiful, AAD is American Academy of Dermatology. They have a beautiful Instagram page with a lot of doctors putting out reels. So you need to combat knowledge with knowledge. And you need to educate a person who to follow up for these skincare tips. So I think that is very, very, very important. And coming to the girl, we spoke to her about the need for lip fillers, cost of lip fillers, and we showed her the photos that she had of herself, because a lot of this comes from, how do you say, positive body image. So if you have a positive body image, then you can understand where your weakness is and where your strength is. And you don't have to replicate or duplicate what somebody else is doing in order for you to appear good. So I think it is Instagram or any other social media, it is very important, especially for the next generation, to understand that everything you see is not true. All the influencers are not on holiday every day. They are not living in five-star hotels. They don't wear those kinds of clothes. And I have a lot of people who come to me, and on the screen of Instagram, they might be preaching body positivity. But in my clinic, I see what are their weak points. So it is very, very important for us to become smart and understand who is marketing some particular product and what is the real truth behind it. I think that is very important.
Don't you think like self-worth and self-value is becoming an issue with Instagram, any social media for that matter? And I totally agree with you. The lifestyle and what they portray on social media is perhaps not the truth, right? Including me. I can't talk for you, I can talk for me. Like, we don't go and post on Instagram or Facebook the difficulties we have in our life. We only choose to post what we want, and it's not the entire life. I know that personally for me, I was the first speaker on this talk show, and I tell it openly. I have told it many times. Only reason I was the speaker is when we started, I wasn't sure whether some people will come to listen, and I didn't want to put another speaker in that position that nobody shows up, and we are talking to ourselves. I talk about my own journey about struggles with mental health, and that's why I call myself an advocate for mental health. That's a very different take to being a mental health expert. And I think it's so important to have these differences, and like that, you could be, you could be a beautician, but you can't become then a cosmetic dermatologist. And I think these differences are not sometimes understood, I think.
So I totally agree with you. And I think in what I was trying to tell you is Instagram has set very high expectations about what is beautiful. I have young girls wanting white underarms, white elbows, lips which are not pigmented. But the truth is that we cannot completely make these problems go away because it's part of our genetics. I cannot expect my hair will be blonde tomorrow unless I dye it blonde, but it's going to grow back black because that is my genetics. And to have flawless skin, because when we see the pictures of our celebrities or our friends, it's all with filters and it is all with apps which make your face look slimmer, cheekbones look higher. It's a world of where reality is not there. In fact, I'd like to tell you a story. We had a young girl who was going to get married, and when the rishta came, she sent the photo of her face with a filter to the
Just a
prospective
second,
groom.
Rasya. For people who don't understand Hindi, rishta means proposal.
Proposal. Yeah, sorry. Okay, it means a proposal. So in India, the proposals are through photographs. So they sent the photograph to the boy who was in another country. The boy said, "Yes, I like this girl. She's very pretty." And the girl comes to me and shows me that photograph. Says, "I want to look like this." Yes. And she looks nowhere like that because these apps, they make your cheeks higher, they make you slimmer, they make your color more even. There are no scars, eyes look wider, lips look pinker. So what is there has to be reality, and reality is a very important part of understanding. So whenever I talk to my patients, a lot of the times this is me, and I believe that every aesthetic dermatologist should also do the same. And they do the same. Is that if we feel that the person is having an unrealistic expectation from you, that they expect that they are going to become 100% better, the scars are going to be perfectly normal, the skin is going to go away, have no mark at all, then we do not do the treatment. We in fact refer them to a counselor. We have like a counselor who works with us, which talks to us about body dysmorphism, body dysmorphic disorders, where they feel that they need perfection. And then they refer them there and wait for a clearance from the doctor before we start doing aesthetic treatments. Because if you start doing treatments for these people who have these unrealistic expectations, they'll never be happy.
How do you navigate trends while focusing on evidence-based practices in the dynamic world of skincare and Instagram? Because I think when you said triangle of love between Instagram and dermatology and skincare, and I have like time for one more question, so I just quickly I'll ask.
Yeah. I feel that when there is a trend, it's a lot of fun. Everybody wants to try it, but you have to scope it and look for the evidence behind that trend and understand if it is safe for you, understand how you can make that trend more safe, more efficacious for your patient, and then offer it to your patient. So let us look at a trend which goes on, vampire facelift. I don't know if you know about it. It's trending. Kim Kardashian's favorite Hollywood treatment is the vampire facelift. And the way the videos are shown on Instagram, there is full blood applied on the face, and there is a derma roller which is rolled on the face. It looks very scary, to say the least. But the truth is, the part of the treatment which works is plasma, which has no red blood cell at all. So when I do it in my clinic, my patients want to know why there is no blood applied all over the face. So this kind of gimmicky trends, right? There is a lot of gimmicky things happening in Instagram. Knowing how to navigate that is one of the fun parts and one of the challenges, which is why I think that I love Instagram, because I love to watch all these videos. And if you look at my videos right now, we are busting myths, where they're like telling you that scrubbing your skin make you fairer. It doesn't. It make you dark.
The world of online, many things happen, and this is one of it, perhaps. And as everybody knows, online dating is another arena. This happens, I'm sure, as well, because of filters, and like you said, sometimes there's a likeness at all between the photograph and the person. What are the 5 things you think every single person must know about dermatology?
I feel if you're going to do something for your skin, I think the first thing that you should do is eat right. It's absolutely important. You are what you eat. Your skin and your hair reflect your good health. So if you're not going to follow a good diet and you're going to eat junk food and fried food and sugar and not eat fruits, vegetables, and all the healthy things that you already know about, and expect your serums to make your skin look great, oh, sorry, it's bad news. You have to eat healthier. Second is, I cannot stress the importance of exercise. Exercise keeps not only your your body healthy, but it also keeps your mind healthy, and it also keeps your skin healthy. So skin care start with good diet and good exercise. And the third thing, which is an important thing, is lifestyle. So we all have bad lifestyles because we have sedentary lifestyle. We sit all the time. There is exposure to smoking, alcohol, lack of sleep, too much stress. Definitely, it's going to contribute to facial aging. And if you're thinking of skincare and you want to look your best at every age, the first 3 things you do are diet, exercise, and watch your lifestyle. And then choose a skincare routine which is made for you. So speak to a dermatologist. You don't need hundreds of serums. You probably need a basic cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen, and maybe a retinol at night. So you don't need those 100 serums which you see on Instagram. Really, no. So if you're doing these 4 things, I think you're going to do very well for your skin. And the 5th thing that I would always tell you is, please don't follow Instagram blindly. I love Instagram. Instagram and me are in, that part of that love triangle which we spoke about in the topic. But you have to know who you're listening to. You have to know where you're taking your advice from. So yeah, that's my 5 things for skin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it's very, very important to know these things, isn't it? Because expectations, seeing reality TV now to add the social media is a very different world.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
This is the first time you have joined us as a speaker, Dr. Rasya. What is your experience?
I think that it is really nice, and it's opening my ideas to more and more channels to communicate with people. And when I met you, Dr. Menaca, and you are so interested and you're so invested in not only your skin, but also to communicate with other people about other concerns as well. So I think it's a wonderful platform that you have here. And I think I can see so many people of they've all joined, and, it's a Sunday, and, taking time off on a Sunday is really big. Taking time off from your family, taking time off I congratulate you on this effort, because it is not easy. And, I know that you have a health issue today, and in spite of it, you are here saying the show must go on. And I think I love that attitude. Thank you. You're an inspiration.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rasya Dixit, because it means a lot. Yes, we all, I think, have to do our bit, and show must go on, right? So thank you so much for all of you. Now, over to Raj Madhavan to give the vote of thanks.
That is a very powerful presentation, Dr. Rasya Dixit. I'm sure we all learned a lot of information on how we could look good. I'm Raj Madhavan, connecting from Canada. Today I have the honor and privilege in presenting the vote of thanks to Dr. Dixit. Dr. Rasya Dixit is a practicing dermatologist and an aesthetic physician in practice for the last 13 years. It is interesting to hear from Dr. Dixit that she did not find dermatology, but dermatology found her. That was a very interesting statement. Cosmetic dermatology is a specialized field, as I understand, that focuses on procedures that improve appearance of the skin, particularly on the face and neck. I'm sure that I'm right. It is also known as aesthetic dermatology or aesthetic medicine. I personally didn't know before that the field dermatology deals with more than 3,000 skin diseases, skin-related diseases. This is amazing, which I never knew before. I am sure that many of us wouldn't have known this before. It's also interesting to hear that social media such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc., tends to make people think it is necessary to maintain a good look. Never thought of it before. Before coming to any Zoom event, I have a habit of taking a shave and shower. This is my way of trying to look good on cameras. I also heard how you look has an impact in your mental health. People get a lot of confidence. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Rasya Dixit for the enlightening speech on skincare and cosmetic dermatology. Your expertise and insights have provided us with valuable knowledge, and we appreciate your dedication to sharing this information with us. Thank you for contributing to our understanding on the fascinating world of skincare and cosmetic dermatology. On behalf of Meet Menaca team, my sincere thanks to Dr. Rasya Dixit for taking your time, coming to our show and presenting an amazing talk on skincare and cosmetic dermatology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Raj.
Thank you, Raj. Now we know how you prepare to come on Zoom to look good, specifically. So people on the Zoom, please bear with us, be on this call, because we are going to take questions from you, for people, anyone who has joined for the first time. People who are listening to us on Facebook, thank you so much for your continued support. Please go and subscribe to our channel, YouTube, called Meet Menaca. You will be really supporting us, and it will help us come up with better shows, better speakers, and more engagement. So please do support us. Thank you, one and all, for supporting us. Until we see you next time, which is the 5th of May. Due to Easter holidays, we are taking a break for April. And in May, we are going to be talking with a psychologist called Arani Balasingham. I think it's going to be a very interesting topic. It's going to be based around shame. Every woman and a man perhaps should listen to it, because it's an interesting world we live in. And the societal pressures and cultural pressures, the more tools we have, it really helps. Until we see you, same time in May, not the same time if you are in Asia, because it will be 6:30, because end of March, our time zone changes once again. So it will be 6:30. We will be letting you know the time change in advance. Until then, stay safe, be happy, and keep smiling.